Hey, what's up everybody? Today's video is going to be a little different. We're going to hop in Lowe's and we'll go over everything that I'm going to purchase for the Marquee. So thanks for watching. Let's go. Type Bond 3 caulking. Really looking for is paintable. Finished coming out of Lowe's, spent $59.10. And if you are going to be building more, these sheets of plywood, you can buy them in 4x8 sheets and you'll get a lot more bang for your buck. But since I'm just going to build one Marquee, just kind of wanted to show you quick how it's going to work out. Alright, let's head home and get started on this project. Alright, we're back home. We're about to get started. I went and changed a little bit. It is hot. I'm in Texas. Let me just show you some of the stuff you're going to use. Get started. Now after you cut your template, what you're going to want to do is double check your measurements, make sure they're still even on both sides and everything's about the same dimension, just because taping it up in different positions can kind of give you some different numbers sometimes, so you just want to be close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. These clamps help hold it in place. Stand it up, look at it, make sure your edges are clean, and if they're not, make sure they're straight. A ruler, and just go around the edges and make sure everything is clean before you cut, because once you cut, you can't go back. Yeah, so the very end of the corner one was a little off just because I guess the cut paper a little bit crooked, but once I put the ruler, straightened it out, it looks clean. To get a clean corner, like on the number one, it's always best to go all the way to the line, bring back, and then restart over going around. Because if you try to make that turn, it's not going to turn out right. So if you have to, practice a couple of little curves or turns or 90s on some scrap piece of wood so you can kind of get a feeling for it. I'll show you a quick tip if you just want to put the blade straight in the center without going all the way around, but make sure you wear safety goggles because these can snap. Now we're going to take over the 1/2 inch, the scrap left over from the number one, and we'll make the bottom base. Alright, so we have all our parts already sanded. The first thing we're going to do is put the bottom base, wood glue, nail it, placing the side pieces on, kind of marking where they go, cutting, pasting on, and we'll move up from there. Now that we got our base, all I'm going to do is line up the sides on the corners. Mark wherever it hits and nail it on. Let's get started. If you rarely have to, you can try to tack in a corner that's kind of a little off. If not, it's better off just to use the caulking. I'll try to tack it just maybe one nail, see if I can get it to kind of touch. The board is very thin, so it's kind of difficult. So if you don't have too much experience with the nail gun, just wait till the end and kind of put some caulking and maybe a little clamp to kind of hold it a little closer together. Worked out. You just got to be careful. You never want to shoot yourself in the hand, so safety first. Alright, if you can't tell by the sweat on my face, it's pretty hot out here. It's got to be close to 100 and I'm in the shade. My face is so red. So let's just put some caulking, let it dry, primer, and paint. Let's go. So what caulking does actually is kind of like a, for our purposes, it's more like a flexible kind of glue, but not so much glue, but it does hold it together and kind of gives it some flex just in case it kind of moves something or hits something or someone hits it. It still holds it in that strength, has a little bit of flexibility. Let me talk about the stencil real quick. So usually what I build when I make mine, I actually kind of just draw it myself. I buy the 2x4 sheet of plywood, and what I do is kind of draw it out till I feel like it looks exactly what I need. I've tried purchasing stencils online before, and they're usually pretty wide. So like, say I want a 3-foot letter, it comes out to like 2.5 feet, and it's just wider than what I want, and they're never kind of what I'm looking for. And also to kind of maximize money and cost, if they sell these 2x4 sheets and I can make a 2-foot and a 3-foot high letter by 2 feet, and I can get it to fit on that one sheet, then I can make all one letter for 60 bucks. And the same thing goes if I buy a 4x8 sheet for $60. I can get at least 4 numbers in there. Might be able to squeeze in another number somehow. When you see other people's numbers, they're usually kind of wider, and I just don't like the way it looks. So I took a lot of time and I made my own marquee numbers. So if you're interested in purchasing those, I'll have the link to this in the Etsy store below. And don't be afraid just to kind of go by, if you want to have this and kind of go by it, and then maybe you want yours looking a little different. Maybe you want a little bit more of a slope, a little bit more going longer this, wider. Don't be afraid to change it up. It's just kind of a good stencil to kind of get an idea of what you want to have. So what I would do is to just make the stencil, draw it out, stand up your board and look, is that the way I want my number 1 to look? And if you want any changes, just get a ruler and kind of draw it out to you exactly the way you want it. But this is definitely a good base to start out with. And then with lights, I always go with the fewest amount needed, because really the more lights you get, the more problems you're gonna have. And it looks great with kind of minimal lights. I don't really like when I see a lot of light. Plus, if I can make it under 10 lights, I can all fit under one cord, and then the more you light up together, the easier it's gonna. I definitely like using less. What I wanted to do with this stencil was actually provide like a little spot where maybe you would want to drill, so you can kind of put your light bulbs wherever you want to put light bulbs. But if you want to, I kind of have some estimates of where you might be able to want to put them. So if you look where I put the X's, that's kind of a spot where maybe you would want to put a light. You don't have to, you can totally do it however you want. It's just kind of bonus. I thought I'd throw that in there just so kind of help out some people who would rather kind of get an idea. And so what you can do is you can do it before, you can do it after. I might have mine after just so I can stand it up and show you a little better. And then all I'm really gonna do is just kind of go with the pencil and mark right in the center of the X, and then I'm gonna take it off. Is that really where I want my lights? And it'll kind of give me a good idea. Let's do that. So again, these are just kind of guesstimates. I can see the indentation, I can actually feel it on a lot of them. I'm gonna go by, measure, double check, make sure it's even. You want it to be in the center, but at least it'll kind of give me a good guide of where I should be. Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna drill some holes. So I get a lot of questions where I get my light bulbs from. I try to leave links in the bottom of the YouTube channel, but a lot of times the links will kind of change. They won't work anymore, so I'll have to constantly update it. So what I decided to do was kind of write a little blog of how I kind of make some of these things. And so I'll have the link to this blog discussing the marquee builds, and kind of have any extra information that I have on these and all that stuff. That'll be in the link below, so go check it out. So really there's usually only like 2 or 3 sizes, usually like 2 sizes of these light bulbs, the generic ones that you're gonna get from Amazon, Walmart, wherever they get them from. What you can do, just take out the light bulb, and you want to find one that's gonna fit just right about over it. This is a paddle bit. This is a 1-inch paddle bit. So they have a couple of different sizes. So you want to kind of put it over the center, look if it's gonna be too snug or not enough. And so what I'm gonna try is the 1-inch. What I'm gonna do is drill through a scrap piece of board, try to make it fit and see how it works out. So you will need a drill. Be real careful because these things can catch and swing on you. So make sure you have a firm grip. I cut out the 1-inch. So let's see. I think that's pretty good. Holds in by itself. That's what you want. You want it where you can kind of take it out a little snug and put it in a little snug. So make sure you do that. The back's like that. If you want to, you can maybe add some glue or something like that. I really don't add anything because once you screw in the light bulb, it keeps it in place pretty good. And then also if you ever need to pull out the lights, maybe sometimes the lights don't work or anything like that, all you do is unscrew it, switch this out, put in the new ones, screw it back in. You can probably do it in less than 5 minutes. So now that we know it's the 1 inch, let's put the 1 inch paddle bit and we're gonna drill through the number 1. You don't have to do this, but I'm just gonna add a little bit of wood filler just to nail holes on the side. But you're really not gonna see them. All right, while I'm waiting for the number 1 to dry, I want to discuss a couple of things. Really, this miter saw, why you would need this. So if you look behind me, I have a number 2 and a number 1. I made the number 2 maybe a week ago. The number 1 I made a while back. I haven't had to finish it yet. Really looking at them, you're not noticing too much difference. But when you really look close, you're gonna see that one's made out of 1/2 inch corner on the outside, and this one is made out of what we just made, that very thin plywood, the 1/4 plywood. Let me kind of show you a little close up. So this number 2 right here, if you look at this outer side, you can see how thick it is. This is thick, so I was able to glue and nail this really tight. This is solid. This is great. So if you're doing commercial events, and if you're able to, you really do want the whole thing made out of 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch for the back, 1/2 inch for the corners. These are awesome. It's strong. I can toss this and I know that's gonna be safe, no problem. It's super strong, super sturdy. The sides are holding together, no problem. So that's why I say if you're gonna really do commercial and you want really strength, I really prefer the 1/2 inch all around. But to do that, you're really gonna need a miter saw, which is a pretty expensive tool and can be a little dangerous. You wanna make sure you know what you're doing when you use one of these. This is because you have to move the saw to the side, this way, and you'll be cutting at an angle. Say you're gonna make like a weird angle for the 1, how it kind of goes at an angle. You're gonna have to cut like a 43 degree here, 27 degree over there. Finding the exact degree, it has it in the back, and you cut it down this way and it'll cut this at an angle. That does take a lot of time finding the right angles, and a lot of times you're just kind of guesstimating and you're just kind of putting up a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter until it fits perfect. It's definitely worth it if you have the tools, have the time, and you want that strength that provides. Definitely this is the route to go. But if you don't, and I get a lot of requests and a lot of messages about building just a simple one, just maybe you're just starting out, or you just want one for your daughter or your son's birthday, you just want to see what, you just want to make one. There is a simpler way, which I do make those occasionally just because it's just easier. You don't really tell the difference. Sometimes you can knock one out in like 2 hours, and that's what I did already with this number 2, and that's the one I'm working on right now. The number 1 I'm showing you, 1/4 inch plywood. This would be the 1/2 inch, and that's what gives it that strength. I will not throw that 1/4 inch one on the floor like that. No, it'll break. So that's why I say usually for commercial use, the other ones are better. Solid, it's glued together. I think it's great. But maybe you're just starting out or you just want to make one. Definitely, this is a way easier option. You can knock one out in a day, easy. Let me show you the difference. From far away, when they have lights are lit up, you're not even telling the difference. But once you get closer, you can see this one is the 1/2 inch, this is the 1/4 inch. It's half the size of this one. They both work out great. This one's gonna be a lot stronger. So I would get so many messages about these, so I really just wanted to give you an option. Maybe that's something you want to do. Definitely this doesn't have the strength of this one, but this one's pretty good. Like, if I drop it, it may hold. I may overemphasize the weakness it has. It's just because I just prefer these better, but really it's pretty strong. That caulking really kind of gives it a little bit of extra hold, flexibility, hold like it'll blend, but it really holds in. And that wood glue is solid, so you're gonna have to rip this off really to kind of get this broken apart. So this is really a viable option. Maybe you're just starting out, you just want to make one, see if you can. Definitely I'm trying to give you all the tools I can to help you make one, make it as easy as I can, which is not difficult. I've only used a couple of tools. Go slow with your cutting. Have the template. Definitely if you buy the template, help support a lot of the stuff we do here. Really, there's no reason not to really just give this one a try. I think I spent maybe 60 bucks in supplies, so this one's a great option. The number 1 should be done primered. I primered it with some white spray paint, and then I'm gonna go over it with the roller just to get a clean look. I'll go over the second coat with that one, and then we'll let it dry, put some lights. I'll see you in a minute. So I'll take that. So maybe that was about 3 hours worth of work, maybe about 2 hours in the afternoon, and then it's already kind of, I took a break because it was so hot, and then I was letting the caulking and everything dry. I came out in the evening for about another hour, painted it, sanded it. I did a little bit of talking in between, so it was about 3 hours worth of work. So really, if I wasn't filming, kind of just had the pace, you could probably, it's maybe about 2.5 hours worth of work. Came out pretty good. So I hope I inspired y'all to at least give one of these a try. Definitely this one's pretty easy. I try to simplify it as much as I can. I always double check where you're putting the X marks. Those are just kind of a guide, so it just kind of gives you some confidence to kind of see this is what I did, this is what I used. And if you want to put more lights, you can. Put less lights, you can. Move more around, a little bit different angle, you can. It's definitely always good to learn a new skill and build something new. So if this helped you out, please like and subscribe. It's really helping our channel grow. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. All right, I'll see you on the next one.